Welcome back to OAA Football Live. I'm Tyler Keefe, joined by West Bloomfield Lakers head coach Zach Hilbers. An exciting time of the year for all the teams here in the OAA, especially for your team coming back after a really competitive 2024 in the OAA Red. So starting off, what do you build off of coming off of a season like that had its fair share of ups and downs, but was highly competitive in one of the toughest divisions in football?
Well, I think like anything else in life, I guess you kind of build off of the lessons you learned along the way. Not to be too cliche, but I guess like the game always guarantees adversity and the ups and downs, kind of like life does. And we had our fair share of it, like you said. And hopefully we learned what it takes when you end up on top, and I guess what leads you to the results that you don't want at the same time. And our job as coaches and players is to obviously end up on the better side of that more often than not.
Having guys like Jeremiah, Travis, Tank, having them all here today, you kind of mentioned in your speech that they've been through all these ups and downs. They've seen being a step away from the pinnacle and seeing the agony of having a second-round exit against a really good Catholic Central team. How have they taken a step forward leadership-wise heading into another season?
Well, like a lot of kids do their senior year, they kind of realize the finality of things, and I guess, for lack of a better term, like the ultimatum that you're kind of pressed against, like this is your shot to do things the way you want to do it. And they're taking kind of ownership of that, and they've really been good leaders for us in the offseason.
Consistency is always something you're looking for in the season. Last season, you had sort of an issue of you'd pick up one new skill and then you pick up another problem, and that kind of went back and forth. How do you skip over that and change that habit in 2025?
Well, you hope it's something that experience kind of gives you in a way. Those kids that have been through the ups and the downs, they kind of help you navigate that with the rest of the team. Because it's really not talent often that has the best teams. Coach Petrito, I think, mentioned that. It's the kids that can kind of navigate the seas a little bit, and the ebbs and flows that the game of football will give you. And hopefully our experience does that for us.
You had mentioned in the packet that was given to the media, offensively, something you're kind of looking at as possibly a bit of an issue, but something that you're working on is massive loss of talent from last year, is in particular in the skills position. I was crunching the numbers, and about 80% of your receiving yards were between three players last season, over 60% of the team's touchdowns. So how do you work to replace that kind of production, especially starting with those guys that were in the mix like Obi Duru and Malcolm Gibson last season?
Well, to be honest, I'm surprised it's only 80% if you do the numbers, because like if I would have gone off the top of my head between Elijah, Cam, and Jaden Alos, I would have guessed it was above 90. But yeah, so I mean, like you mentioned, Obi and Malcolm, they're both really good players, and they were good enough to play a lot last year. They were just behind kids that were really good. So I think, they're pretty hungry, and some of the kids that are coming up from the younger levels, they're pretty talented, and they're ready and eager to kind of show what they can do as well. So you're right, like that's definitely a question mark when you graduate a receiver like Elijah Durham, who set every program record we have. And then Cameron Flowers and Jaden Alos and all the other talent they had out there. It was pretty special. But it doesn't mean the guys that, are waiting their turn aren't pretty special too.
The Lakers last season graduating a number of offensive weapons. You mentioned Elijah Durham. He's the all-time leader in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, single season yards, and he got that record twice in single season yards in his first and second, only 2 years on the varsity squad for Elijah Durham. The quarterback situation, something people are going to be thinking about going into 2025. Last year, most of the reps, Bo Jackson, a little bit of Jamal Shakespeare. You mentioned before last season, Jackson Carver was an up-and-comer. Are we going to be seeing kind of a mixed quarterback room, or are you set on the guy yet?
We always have a bunch of guys that take snaps. It's kind of always been our MO. You can go back 10 years. There's always 4 to 5 guys that'll take snaps at quarterback. It'll probably be more of the same of that. But you're right. Like Bo Jackson was the ultimate teammate, perfect competitor. He was a tremendous high school football player and a great kid. But Jamal still played a lot of quarterback as well, and so did Brody Pecor and some other kids. And it'll probably be similar. Like Jackson, we thought last year was really coming along and really impressive, and he broke his collarbone in kind of a freak injury. So I know he's pretty hungry and eager to show what he can do. But so are some of the other kids. So we'll always have, I guess, a mixed bag at that position.
Benefit of having a high power offense and going against other high power offenses, you can score a lot of points. Big benefit for your team looking forward to this season. You got a ton of talent and a ton of ability coming back on the defensive side of the football. Looking at your competition in and outside of the division this season, how big of a plus is that?
Oh, it's huge. Anytime you get experience on one side of the ball, ideally you want both, but you get it on one side of the ball, it just becomes so much easier. Like it's not just teaching; they kind of help spread your message throughout everybody else, and they know what to expect mentally and physically. So, we're really looking for them to kind of carry us early on and hope everybody else kind of catches up.
What's your message for your team and for Laker Nation as they head into this 2025 season? Always going to be a tough schedule, always going to have its ups and downs. What's it going to take for this Laker team to get back to where everyone's expecting them to be, playing late in November?
Just the mental perseverance that it takes. Things aren't always going to go your way. Of our 11 games last year, we were leading at some point in 10 of them, but we only won 5. So kind of just finishing the job and navigating that a little bit better and trying to stay hard mentally.
August 28th, 7 o'clock kickoff at Lakers Stadium. It's a Thursday night game, family fun night, as well as we kick off the 2025 season. More information on Laker football all season long on your home for Lakers sports, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. Coach, thanks again.
Thank you.